welcome to the front of the stage.
Great. Oh, thanks, Ed. Thanks, everyone. They were some great films up there. It was so wonderful to watch everybody else's films.
Yeah, and it's great that you're a part of all of that as well, and that you're here. We screened you last year with The Removed at Lytham, and if I remember rightly, Georgie won Best Actress as well with us, which was great. Let's start with Georgie. Something tells me it was her birthday a few days ago. I think I saw that pop up on IMDb.
Yeah.
Somewhere. How was it working with Georgie?
Oh, wow. Georgie, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen Georgie before. You know, she's graced our screens for years in TV and film, but I have to be honest with you, this was a huge deal for Georgie doing this part, because she often plays the supporting roles. So for her to kind of step up and really grab this role, and we worked really, really hard on. I connected her to a lot of people that I've met, birth mothers and adoptees, and she really just got all those stories, which are absolutely heartbreaking, but under her skin. And we developed a massive backstory about her character as well, which is really important for me as a filmmaker. I used to be an actress, so backstories are it's a really big thing, just to bring all those layers into characters and stories. So we developed this massive story together, and so all those subtleties and the subtext, I think, really, plays beautifully. So yeah, she's an absolute dream.
How difficult was it then to actually construct the narrative that you want? Because on the face of it, it's a very simple story set in just one location with two actors, but there's a lot of depth to it, there's a lot of nuance to it. What was that process to get there?
Well, so I've been wanting to tell a story about forced adoption, and because there's been so many stories about the Magdalene laundries and Irish stories, and I felt like we needed to hear some of the stories from the UK as well, because only recently now those stories are appearing, which is amazing, but I just thought I really wanted to tell a story that shines the injustice on the UK women that I've met. So like any filmmaker, if you can get a free location, that's amazing, isn't it? So I had this amazing location, the woods, which is a farmer friend of mine, and it literally is like that. I mean, it was a day and a half, the shoot. I absolutely prepped meticulously. I knew exactly what I wanted, because we only had a day and a half with Tom and Georgie. So, but what I did was I knew I had this location, so I wrote the piece around setting it there, and I couldn't do that huge subject matter justice in 8 minutes. So I just thought I wrote it as an allegory. So we've got the twist at the end. So it's all in her mind, and she has found the box, but obviously the character who Tom Christian plays, the man, is in her mind, is what her son would be.
You mentioned Tom there as well, so tell us a little bit about Tom and what he was like to work with.
Wow, gosh, you got to check out Tom Christian. He is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. The thing is, when you work with actors who have really got their craft and studied and have all those subtext and detail and connection, and it's so important for an actor to connect with what they're doing and give a truthful performance. And you often see on screen, don't you, if actors don't have that connection, and maybe they're not supported by a director, or just but Tom is amazing, and he's in two really big films at the moment. One called with Jason Statham, and another film. And he's just incredible, and he's originally from Liverpool. He doesn't speak normally with a Liverpool accent, but when we read it, the rhythm of it, he said, I want to do a Scouse accent. I was like, absolutely. And I think he's brilliant.
So tell us a little bit then about your directing process. It helps, no doubt, to have two fantastic actors at your disposal. But how do you get such not such nuanced characterizations and storytelling out of two actors like that?
Well, I think that's. Can you hear me? You're right. Yeah, thanks. I think that's because of my background as an actress. So I was an actress for a long, long time. I did a lot of theatre, really, bits of TV, bits of film. But I love character and I love human stories. And I think you can never do too much prep. I'm a prepper. I am every detail about your character, where they're from, who they are. What, I am quite method in that respect. However, when we come to the floor, I like to play and give the actors freedom, because I want them to do their job. And I think as a director, you've got to find a balance of supporting your actor, but also allowing them that space and freedom. And Tom and Georgie had never met before, and Tom actually had food poisoning. So he rocked up, not by my catering, by the way, can I just say that? So he went to Tesco's the night before with his wife, because he brought his wife up as well, which was lovely, and he had a dodgy chicken sandwich from Tesco, yeah. So he came to the floor, to the woods, and put a massive brave face on, but that was the first time they'd met, and I wanted to try and get them together, but it didn't happen. But they just hit it off, because they're just the most kindest, genuine, beautiful people. And I think I'm sure there's only filmmakers in the room, that when you get a team of people, and you know this, Ed, but who collaborate and respect each other, and you have that unique collaboration, it's just gorgeous.
So tell us a little bit about how you ended up becoming a filmmaker. You mentioned that you were an actress. So what was the journey for you to get here?
Yeah, because everybody's journey is different, isn't it, really? So for me, I was an actress, and then I've got three kids. And I love being a mom. I had my babies. And then I was a bit like, so I was still a jobbing actress when I had my kids, and I did a lot of commercials at that point, and I didn't want to be away and be on tour. But as they got older, I was just like, I need to create, and I need to get back to creating, and directing is always what I've wanted to do. So I just thought, how can I get into directing and get paid? Because you can't just get a directing job straight away. But so what I did was, I thought, okay, I know what I can bring as an actress to directing. How can I get some TV work where I'm actually just shadowing directors and watching? So I looked at all the different departments, and I basically thought, okay, I'll try and get some work into the assistant directing department. And ADs, they support the director, they support lots of different departments, and they kind of communicate on the floor amongst lots of amazing other things. But so I got it wasn't easy. I kind of, because I'm not from nobody in my family's in the business. Literally, I've had to work really hard connecting to people. And I had one friend who had stayed in contact when I was an actress, and she kind of connected me to a team. So I was a runner for for about a year, actually. But it kind of, I think because of my experience, I quite quickly stepped up throughout the departments and became a first AD. And then Johnny, my husband, he was an actor, and he's a filmmaker, so we started Swift Rocket Films, and to produce amazing stories, and it's just grown from there. Yeah.
And where are we up to now with Swift Rocket? What can we expect to see?
Well, we've got some really cool things, actually. So our first film, Wake, which is on YouTube, can I just say, starring the amazing Alison Steadman, and that deals with, so we live in quite a rural community in Dorset, and it deals with a tragedy in a farming family. And so, because I really like to highlight injustices and stories and, people that need a voice. So we did Wake, then we did Removed, and then we shot Before Christmas Grain, which is slightly different, but very cool. And then now, so we've got this amazing World War I short film that we're developing, but we've also got 2 features. that we're kind of getting off the ground as well. So things are kind of moving, which is great.
That's brave, moving into features and having 2 on the go at once.
I know, but it feels so natural, and I think, you know, I'm so hungry and to work. So I think we've got this incredible team of people that we've been working with over the last few years. Like my DOP Rob, who really wanted to be here tonight, but he's filming, you know. But he and I work brilliantly together, and Stevie, our sound mixer, and lots of other people. But when you get a great team, you've got to keep them. So it feels a natural thing now. So we're pitching at the moment. And then another feature that I've got, I'm working with a different production company, and it's a film set in the 1990s, and there's elements of the Liverpool docker strikes in this film, which is quite a key moment in our history, and so that's one to watch for.
You mentioned there about kind of working with the same people again and again. Do you find that, because there will be filmmakers here today, and there will be plenty that will watch this, do you find throughout the industry it's the same, people keep reworking with the same people because it's a trust thing, it's a skills thing?
Yeah, I suppose it's like any industry, isn't it, or any whatever you do. If you have such a great connection with somebody, you want to keep working with them, don't you? And especially when, like, my friends who we just sing off the same hymn page, and we're just got the right energy, but we're all really respectful and kind and lovely, because I mean, I think we can all say you do meet egos in this industry, and I don't like, get away, you know, we don't want egos. So when you have this amazing team of people, it is fantastic. But I think, if anything, genuinely, there are lots of people who do tend to work sometimes with the same people, but then everybody's has different schedules, and if somebody's on a different job, then you go to somebody else, you know. So it's but it is nice when you get the same people. Yeah.
I think we should open it up to the audience, see if they've got any questions that they might like to ask you. If you've got a question that you'd like to ask Rebecca, please just pop your hand up. We don't have a roaming mic, so you just have to shout. But who's going to be brave?
I think I might as well take this first question. You were talking about some of the viewership projects, and we were talking about this a little bit before, pre-screening. Events like this are important for filmmakers to get their work seen. How vital is it for filmmakers to be able to show their work in incredible foyer spaces, and incredible cinemas full stop, and just the role of the film festival in general to sort of give filmmakers the chance to showcase their work to the biggest possible audiences?
Yeah, it's so important. And also, as well, when you have a Q&A, it's great to actually talk about your film and the process, and it's nice, you know, people get a little bit of an insight, but it's so important, because we were speaking about this, weren't we? And an independent film, we all need to support it, and we need to keep making it, because let's face it, it's not a great place at the moment where we are, is it really? And I mean, I'm drawn to human stories and realistic things. That's my genre, but I just think it's so important just to use these amazing spaces, because they're fantastic, and the sound as well that you hear, and so yeah, it is really, really important. So what you guys are doing is fantastic. So thanks for having me today.
Oh no, the pleasure is theirs. There was another one, wasn't there? At the back there, yes.
Hi, I think you mentioned it took a day and a half to film, but how long did the overall process take from the very beginning of making the film all the way through to the actual release?
Oh yeah, good question. Yeah, so hold on. So I shot this in May 2024, and so it's still on the circuit actually. So our film got through to BAFTA and BIFA, so we've done, you know, really, really well. And then we screened in the House of Parliament a couple of months ago, so that was incredibly powerful. But so hold on, let me think now. So I wrote it very quickly actually, because it's been just in my mind for a long time. And it was actually quite quick thinking about it. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud whilst I'm speaking. I would say probably, I would say pre-production, so before we shot it, was about 7 weeks. And then We shot it in the May, and then by end of June, we were picture locked and we were done. Yeah, I am a bit like, right, done. It's, you know, why hang around? But I know, of course, sometimes you need that space and people can't always. But with this, it was very, very quick, actually. Yeah. Thank
You mentioned Houses of Parliament there. I don't think we can let that one just slip under the door. What was all that about? How did it come about?
Yeah, gosh. So in my research for The Removed, I connected to this incredible group of women and men who are part of the Movement for an Adoption Apology, the MAA, and also the Adult Adoptee Movement. So they're both campaigning for a formal apology from the UK government for the injustice and of what's happened with babies being taken away, generally because of being young unmarried mothers, and that was the stigma and the shame at the time of being unmarried was, okay, well, you know, you can't keep your baby. And so these women are incredible because they have dealt with so much in their lives, and they have really carried this trauma and grief for so long. And some of the stories I've been very, they've been very open about their stories, which is incredibly, powerful. But what's happened over the last probably 18 months is it's amazing how that film is used as a platform, as a tool to raise awareness of subjects. And this is what's happened with The Removed. It's really, really helped kind of get it out a little bit more into the public eye of what's happening or what has happened. And then we were invited by Parliament to screen in front of MPs, and Helen Hayes, who's an MP, hosted the event. It was very, very powerful. We had lots of people there, and then we've been on the BBC, and then I was on Sky News as well. So it's all kind of, it's gained a lot of press, which I'm so pleased about. And not just for me as a filmmaker, but I genuinely absolutely adore these and respect these people. So I want this for them, and I want the apology for them.
I think one of the strengths of The Removed is it's got a message at the end, but when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like it's a film with an agenda. It feels like a piece of entertainment that we're following an interesting story, and then it reveals its message at the end. For me, I think that's one of its strengths. Would you say for you that's where it is?
Yeah,
and for other filmmakers trying to make similar sort of content, that's the strength of that sort of material?
Yeah, I think so. I think, ultimately it is a drama, and the way I directed Tom and Georgie, I wanted to really use all the breath. I said to Georgie, just don't rush. Really use those pauses and that breath and the thought process, and it was just nice to give it that. And then at the moment we have the cards that tell us the actual facts. So I think it's really important to kind of to direct pieces like this, because often everything is so rushed, isn't it? Bam, bam, bam. And actually, when you have a story and you can have that time to give it that breath and space, then it's great.
I hijacked the audience there. Any more questions from anybody? Yes.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. Nice to meet
Jeanette.
you.
Nice to meet you.
I want to pick the brains.
Yeah.
Are you in? I mean, it's very powerful as it is, and it's perfect as it is. But are you intending to make it into a feature or develop it further?
Yeah, I so connecting to the ladies, there's definitely lots of stories that I could develop with them. So I mean, I think there's been a production company thinking about a TV series, and I'd like to think they'd approach me to direct that TV series. But I would love to do it as a feature, absolutely. And I think the thing is with film, whether it's independent or studio film now, it's the money, and it is so hard to make a film, isn't it? Because getting that funding in place is really, really hard. But then you just if you're determined, you just have to go for it, don't you? So yeah, I would absolutely love to make a feature, definitely.
Anybody else? Back.
What sort of budget did you have for this film?
Yeah, good question. I had 10 grand for the film. It was not a lot, but I think I'm very, very proud of that, because I think it looks slick, and it's the grade as well. I've got this amazing grader, Simon. He's done an amazing job on all my films. So yeah, it was. I mean, having a free location is absolutely amazing. So that definitely ticked the box.
There was a moment, and I don't know why budgets reminded me, because it's nothing to do with budgets, but you mentioned the cinematographer. When we see Tom at the beginning, he's out of focus, and it's not until he says, I can't remember what the line is, but he kind of reveals who he is, and then you focus pull onto him. Is that deliberate?
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
I like it when I spot things.
No, I like that. Yeah, so what we did, because of we just wanted to kind of create more creative moments with the character, with the camera and the focus as well. And like when she's burrowing, she's scraping, and we buried the camera. So we just thought, let's just elevate the piece with kind of nice moments that we can be creative.
Yeah, if you were to give somebody some advice on that, because as film festivals we get to see a lot of films, and there's a lot of pieces not too dissimilar where it's just like two-hander, a couple of people having conversations, but quite often they don't have the impact they want because everything's too static. There's not enough going on. It could be radio drama. Yeah. Yours obviously isn't. So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to do something like this that's a two-hander, but you need to keep the eye engaged as well?
Yeah, I'd say I suppose it depends on the story, but I mean, I actually, even though we kind of played around with this in terms of with the camera and the focus, there is something beautiful about still moments. And the World War I short film that I'm really determined to get off the ground, I'm going to shoot that massive wides on that, and it's going to be quite almost like pictures of portraits. So I'd say though, I think yeah, have a play if you can, and depending on the story, just sometimes the camera can give such energy to a piece, can't it? And I like running, I like people moving and their physicality. And what I said to Georgie was, and what was really important for me with this piece was, I really wanted the connection to the land with Georgie, and that's part of her backstory, but just having that connection to the land is key. So it's kind of, whatever the story is, finding moments where you can lift it with certain creativity.
Any more? Anybody else? At the back.
So you talk about location being really good and really important. You talk about the actors, quality of the actors, and you talk about the team. But the words are really important too. So for this you wrote the words. What's that process like? Because any artist never finishes. So at some point you've got to finalise those words, and then as a director, do you let the actors improvise, and how protective are you?
Good question, Julian. It's a really good question. Gosh, where do I start? So yes, I wrote this, and I did write it quite quickly, but I think for my process, because I used to be an actress, I'm on my feet and I'm reading my script and I'm going through the character's journey for this anyway. And when I sent it to Georgie and Tom, they instantly connected with the words anyway, which was amazing. And so I didn't really have to do any rewrites. It was yeah. But I would say, I think I've worked on jobs where, certainly as a first AD, on big, very big budget things where directors or actors might say, oh, do we have to say that? And I'm like, oh my God, the writer has poured their soul into that. Let's honour that and make it work. You know, there might be times where you can't make it work, but come on, that's your job to try and make it work. So I'm very respectful of the writing process, and if it's me who is, but having said that, if an actor is really struggling to connect to it, then as a director I would say, let's talk about it, and you know, let's try and make it work. But I think it's I do like improvisation though. The last film, Grain, which I shot just before Christmas, and it's set in a working flour mill with 10 women. Oh, I'm so excited about this film. But there was lots of improvisation in that because we had to. We were working against literally this watermill that was going very fast and very loud. So, but it was great. I'm definitely up for a bit of ad-libbing.
Okay, any final questions before we wrap things up? Yeah.
Might be a bit of a cliche question, but who are the filmmakers and what are the films that inspire you?
Oh no, that's a great question. Well, to be honest, I've got quite an eclectic mix of, you know, I grew up with, my mum and dad, I grew up literally just down the road. Preston was my teenage haunt. And my mum, she loves musicals, so that has really inspired me, and cowboys, you know, westerns, not cowboy films, westerns. But I really love, I love Mike Leigh, I love Ken Loach, I love, there's so many films that I love, but I just, for me, it's about great performances, human connections, and that's what really inspires me. And there's so many films, I'd be here forever, but one of them I love, Kate Winslet's Sense and Sensibility with Emma Thompson. That's a beautiful, Ang Lee, I mean, that's a stunning film. But yeah, I'm just a film buff and I wish I had more time to watch films.
So just to wrap things up, there are some filmmakers in the audience. We've got some student filmmakers helping us out tonight as well, and plenty do watch the videos that we make of these. And if you could give an up-and-coming filmmaker or filmmaking student one good piece of advice, what would it be?
I know this sounds cliche, but I would say just create. And I know that's so hard to sometimes go, you know, how do I get people together? But literally, the more you create, the more you learn, the more contacts you make and connections, and that is it. And whether, you know, now use an iPhone. I mean, just go for it. Just create and write and think and yeah, just go for it. That's my advice.
Excellent. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming and joining us and being a part of our evening. Rebecca Rose, everybody, thank you.
Thank you.